Hi there folks, welcome to RRTV's live and exclusive coverage of the Skip Barber Monday Lights. We're at Watkins Glen tonight for round 11, and as you can see the drivers are out there qualifying as we speak. But before we get into it, as always, welcome Alex. It's another Monday night, another night for Skip Barbers.
Yeah, thanks very much Bernie, great to be back. Really looking forward to this race. Fantastic track here at Watkins Glen. It's been amazing racing all week, to be honest. Big pack racing, given half an opportunity, a lot of drafting here. This configuration, as opposed to last season, we've got the bus stop chicane, which adds quite a bit of action and interest to this circuit. Rather than having the long straight down into the carousel, you've got to go through the right and flip back to the left through the bus stop chicane. That's a ton of interest and quite a bit of action from time to time in the official racing here, Bernie. So looking forward to the action. Should be an exciting race.
Yeah, it certainly should be, and we can see Anthony Lucas out there at the moment. We're in qualifying here, folks, but let's have a look at the weather and then the point score, because we're getting down to the business end of the season. So we'll start with the track. So of course we're running on international boot tonight, so we've got the chicane, and hold your breath through there, as Alex said. It's partly cloudy out there today. Wind speed 5 kilometres an hour. The track temp pretty high tonight, 41 degrees Celsius, but a cool air temp of 27 degrees.
Yeah, that's 41 degrees on tracks, pretty average for what we've seen here this week, Bernie. Should see qualifying times potentially duck into the 2:08 minute laps around here in qualifying, and certainly duck well under that during the race, Bernie. Yeah,
well, we're just waiting for the first people to go through now. We've got 18 in the field here tonight, folks, and some pretty big names. One we're missing tonight, of course, is Enzo Cantor. He could not make tonight's race, so it's going to be interesting to see how these points shake up. But let's have a look at the moment. Luke Whitten has just jumped to pole with a 2:09.741. Victor Carrizosa is currently in second with a 2:10.400, and third is Mario Schmitz. So that's your top three at the moment.
Yeah, a few different names to what we're used to seeing up near the front, although a lot. Keith Sharp still to run. Kevin Henderson now dropping up into second position provisionally, Bernie. I know he'll be very happy to be back in the top split, Bernie. He's been working really hard to get his rating up, to get back into the top split. Sitting just under 3,000 at the moment. He's clawed his way back really well, and really pleased to see him back here, Bernie.
Oh, it certainly is good to see him back up there and having a good run. Currently he's sitting third. Keith Sharp just pushed him out with a 2:09.964. So the guys are in the 2:09s. It's the rest are in the 2:10. So I think there's a lot more to come yet. They're only on to their second flying lap. But let's have a look at the point score at the moment, because we've only got tonight's race and one more round to go, and Luke Whitten is leading on 225 points, with Ben Furhoff in second on 210. Enzo Cantor on 206 in third, fourth Valerio Pianezza, and fifth Mick Gray. But having a look at who we've actually got out there, and we've got Luke Whitten, but I can't see the other guys out there.
Yeah, with the exception of Mick Gray there, Bernie. He's out there, and Kevin Henderson sitting in. Very interesting. Luke Whitten dropped a 0-point round last week, so he skyrocketed up into first place, leapfrogging Ben Furhoff. Interestingly also, Enzo Cantor not here tonight attempting to defend his championship. He's 20 points off, or 19 points off the lead, with, I believe he's got a 0-point round in his pocket. So if he turns up next week and has a good result, certainly well within reasonable thinking that he might have a good shot at the championship, Bernie.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting, that's for sure. It's going to go down to the wire here, but Luke Whitten, he's just set a new fastest lap, a 2:09.615, so he's in first position. Mario Schmidt still second, Keith Sharp third. Kevin Henderson's coming across the line now, currently in fourth. Does he improve? And no, he does not. So looks like he's going to be starting on the second row of the grid tonight.
Yeah, they made lies of me, Bernie. I was expecting 208s here tonight, but certainly the track conditions are, as we say, pretty warm, but not inconsistent with what we've seen here during the week. So I would expect, though, with the draft in play, we should well and truly duck into the 208s during the race, Bernie.
Okay, I'm going to hold you to that,
Yeah, of course.
It's, we've got to keep you accountable. So...
That's right. Well, I would expect to see the draft really is worth a lot around here, particularly up the back straight. You can gain half a second up the back straight, and then if you're behind a quicker car, particularly, take advantage around a whole lap and then shoot past them up the back straight.
Yeah, well, we saw that in... I was watching the Top Split broadcast tonight, folks, and I saw a lot of that. If you haven't checked it out, definitely check out Alex. He's the most laid-back driver I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's a bit of fun. I put the Australasian Super Skips race up last night. Check that series out, guys. It's a fantastic scene to race on. One of the best races I've had since I've been driving on iRacing, Bernie.
Yeah, it was definitely entertaining. But let's go through the grid. We've got Luke Whitten starting from pole. Mario Schmitz will start in second. Third, Dennis Johansson. Fourth, Keith Sharp. Kevin Henderson was pushed down to fifth by the end of that qualifying session. Out of sixth, Victor Carrazosa, followed by Juan Aragones. Then we've got Ben Soko out of 8th. Pascal Van Den Hoyk out of 9th. Samuel Collins is out of 10th. Starting out of 11th will be Carlos Sorrentes, followed by Gustavo Condi in 12th. Russell Clark will start out of 13th, followed by Ian Robertson in 14th. And 15th is Anthony Lucas. Starting out of 16th will be Mick Gray, followed by Vince Browning in 17th. And rounding out your field of 18 is Jason Willman.
Yeah, great to see Jason back in the top split as well, Bernie. Had a couple of runs in the second split and was actually thinking about having a hiatus from the... Pleased to see him back. Some good local talent on show with him. Vince Browning, Mick Gray, Anthony Lucas, Russell Clark in the field as well. So plenty of local guys to keep us interested throughout the field, Bernie, as I think the lights are ready to go.
Yeah, and we're under starters orders now, and we're just waiting for the lights. Now we're underway here at Watkins Glen for round 11. Nice clean start. Luke Whitten's going to take the inside here. He's just got to keep an eye on the outside. No, he goes across and he's secured first, but keep an eye midfield. It's going to get a bit hairy as they go into the 90s for the first time.
Yeah, they're about to head up through the S's now, and this is where the action will take place. Often pole here is almost a bit of a curse, Bernie, because you'll have 3 or 4 cars trying to attack you into the bus stop for the first time before the race manages to settle down. The front guys will be looking to make a bit of a break if they can. Kevin Henderson in 5th, Bernie, he'll be trying to hang on with... Victor Carrazosa, I beg your pardon, trying to hang on as well as they head now into the bus stop for the first time. Oh, a bit of contact there, Bernie, it's all on.
Yeah, well, I was holding my breath. It looks like Luke Whitten, he's gone on the infield, so I'm not sure what's happened to him. He's rejoined way down in 7th position, so we'll get a replay of that once things settle down, but I think he's got a lot of damage to his car, and he's dropping to the back of the field.
Yeah, he was involved in that incident coming into the bus stop for the first time. We saw up the inside, go straight through the middle there. He didn't look to actually hit anyone though, but he's gone through the infield. I'm not sure if he's picked up any damage, but he's certainly dropped right back, Bernie.
Yeah, so we're going to jump back and have a look at this replay now, because we were focusing on the field as they went through. So here's our replay, folks. We can see Luke on the outside, and I think that's Schmitz on the inside.
Yeah, car number 9 there, Keith Sharp coming through the middle of the two, going 3 wide through there, collecting Schmidt on the inside by the looks. Luke looked to really avoid that, going through the infield, as you say. He would have picked up a slowdown though, that might have hurt him, but I can't see him picking up any damage anywhere else, so hopefully he'll be right to continue, Bernie.
Yeah, I think so. I originally thought he had contact, but I think he just hit the eject button and took to the infield. He's back up to speed now, but tell you what, that was so costly for him. He's in 13th, but look up front at the moment. Keith Sharp, he's leading. Dennis Johansson second. Kevin Henderson dropping off a bit, but we got one around.
Oh, yeah, that looked like Victor dropping down, right down to the back now, Bernie's. The front of his car's gone too, unfortunately. I'm going to check that out. He might have put it into the wall, I'm not sure. As he heads through turn one, I'm just having a look at it now. The rear end of the car's got loose. He's tried to hang on to it. Yeah, just nose straight into the wall. As the rear tried to become the front, these cars will take a bit of damage on the front, Bernie, but he should be able to drive around and pit if he needs to, depending on how the steering's held up. But that was a hard knock through the 90. No, he's pulled it over and looks like he's going to head into the pits, Bernie.
Yeah, I think he'll need to, but a heavy hit there, and a lot of action in the first lap here so far, folks. But Dennis Johansson's now leading, and Keith Sharp is in second at the moment, so we missed that move. Kevin Henderson having a great run, sitting in third at the moment. Samuel Collins fourth. Rounding out your top five is Benjamin Soko, and he's having a look at the moment on Samuel Collins.
Yeah, he is. There's a nice little battle pack forming there with Benjamin Soko and Samuel Collins nose to tail. You've got our Carlos Cervantes in the Sprinters jersey, you may remember from earlier in the season, as Ben has a look up the inside of Samuel, through the heel there, as they settle down to sort of try and finish off that lap cleanly and not lose too much time. Great to see Keith Sharp up the front, Bernie. He's a guy from Ireland, if I'm not mistaken. He and Dennis now leading the field, our two international front runners at this stage. Keith's had a bit of a rough trot in Monday Night Lights events in previous races and seasons. I'm really pleased to see him back for another crack and having a great run at it with Dennis up the front.
Yeah, they're definitely having a good run there, and it's great to see Keith up the pointy end. He's tucked right in under Dennis now, and he's probably going to have a crack at him as he gets the toe up here onto the back straight.
Yeah, absolutely. You see Kevin just within 0.7 of a second now. The leading two. Depends on how well they work the draft here. If Keith can get a good run, Kevin will struggle to get on the back here. I suggest, though, he'll be itching to hang on to that toe, make the most of it, and make that a leading pack of three. Once again, Kevin having a great performance on his return to the top split.
Yeah, we're on the nose cam now, folks, as we go through the bus stop. That camera view I love, because it really shows the speed of these skippies around here.
Yeah, that bus stop, that's a hairy corner. When you're on your own, Bernie, you're doing that in fourth gear. In traffic, you'll drop down to third to get yourself a bit more control, but very easy to get wrong as the leading pack heads through the chute now, down into the toe. Great section of the track here. That bus stop, I tell you what, I haven't had many scarier experiences on the iRacing service than going through there in numbers, Bernie.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, attacking that in fourth gear, well, that's pretty gutsy, but at the moment, Luke Whitten, he's just sitting in 8th position now, made up 4. He's right up behind Carlos Cervantes. Carlos is also having a good race here with Gustavo Condi, and we can see the number 12 poking his nose out. That's Anthony Lucas back in, it wasn't Anthony, sorry, it was Vince Browning down here in 14th position.
Yeah, Luke Whitten there on a charge back up through the field after that earlier incident through that bus stop chicane. He's fighting hard to get past some of the drivers that he qualified in front of, and would be somewhat disappointed to be there, but certainly on a charge there with Russell Clark sitting just behind him in 9th position. I had a great battle with Russell and a few others last night in that Australasian Super Skips race that I mentioned. Unfortunate little tap on the way through the bus stop at chicane again, Bernie, as we see Luke pull to the inside heading through turn 1, also known as the 90, and I tell you what, he wasn't getting any room there from Gustavo Conde there into turn 1. He wasn't going to get a 2-for-1, but I imagine that depending on what sort of games that Gustavo wants to play up this back straight here as they head through the S's, I'd expect Luke to go by him here, although it certainly looks like Carlos and Russell want to make some interesting work out of it as well, Bernie.
And I tell you what, Russell Clark, as they cross over here, Russell Clark went so wide there, I thought he was heading off to Canada for a moment.
That's right. It's very interesting racing here tonight. But we've lost one of our front runners, Bernie, up ahead as they've exited the bus stop there on lap 4 of 12 here tonight. Looks like Samuel Collins came to grief as he started going through the carousel. Luke Whitten now going around the outside as they head through the chute now and down into the toe for the 4th time. Luke will now be set up on the inside to make a passing manoeuvre there on Samuel. He gets the nice drive out of there, and it looks like Gustavo's trying to follow him through, and depending on how they work through this section of the track, the bottom of the boot as they call it, into the heel now. Gustavo's pulled back in behind Samuel. I thought he might have a look on the inside, but certainly action aplenty, Bernie.
Yeah, and Luke's just got it a little bit crossed up ahead of them, but he's gathered it up. I have a feeling after that start, Luke's got... he's a bit determined. He wants to get back up to the pointy end as quickly as he can, and he's probably ruining that chicane at the moment.
Absolutely. Not much you can do through there in that sort of pack. You're better to sort of get through it and live to fight another day. He was knocked back to 13th position. He's back up 7 places into 5th, and certainly eyeing off Benjamin Soko in 4th, I would imagine. And I can also imagine that these 4 or 5 guys sitting behind him, all the way down to Anthony Lucas, I think, will be probably trying to get on the Whitten train, so to speak. A touch there. Gustavo's got into the back of Samuel Collins, who comes out and collects Luke Whitten and flips him over through the 90. That's a big incident, Bernie.
That's a huge incident, and I tell you what, Luke was the greatest... how can you say, he was just a passenger, wasn't he? He had nothing to do with this incident. As we go to super slow-mo now, and we'll try and get you this. There was actually a bit of a touch between Samuel and Gustavo, which sent Samuel going.
Yeah, there absolutely was, Bernie. It looks like Gustavo coming into the 90 into turn 1. He stuck his nose up the inside. And then I got to say he broke a bit late and put it into the rear of Samuel there, who then skirting across the grass on the inside, he had no control, and he was a complete passenger there as he ended up running into the side of Luke, who I can't imagine what he's feeling now after flipping his car multiple times and finding himself in the pits, Bernie.
Yeah, I can imagine what he's thinking, and it's probably not something we could repeat on the broadcast tonight, but I tell you what, he would not have seen that coming.
No, not on that angle. I've not had that exact scenario play out, but I've certainly been blindsided through the 90 and had a similar experience there where you just don't see it coming, and it's like playing some sort of horror movie. You just get the shock of your life when something comes out of nowhere and takes you out like that. Not a great ending there, but certainly something to remember for the highlights reel, I think, Bernie. I'm just looking up the front, and I've just noticed Dennis Johansson missing the nose on his car. So it looks like we might have missed something there, Bernie, while all that action was going on. He's still sitting there in 3rd place, but I tell you what, if he loses that draft, he's going to be in all sorts keeping up down the back straight, Bernie.
Yeah, we'll have a look. We do have an off-track here. He's had a bit of an incident in lap 3 where he's come off, but we'll jump back to lap 4. He's already missing his nose, so we're going to jump back to lap 3 because it looks like he's had a number of off-tracks, which normally means he's come unstuck. So we're back to the replay here. He's on the inside. We've got Kevin Henderson tucking in behind him as they come onto the back straight. I was thinking the same thing.
No, I've caught the incident, Bernie. It was coming down, they've just been through the chute. Kevin Henderson sitting in the lead there, and Dennis he's coming up behind him, shows the nose up the inside, pulls him behind, and looks to have been caught out by either Kevin braking earlier than he was expecting, or perhaps Dennis missing his braking marker. and he's just run into the rear of Kevin, which of course will damage Kevin's car, and Kevin's done really well to hang on to that, actually. Very well indeed to hang on to it as they went through the tow, but it's robbed Dennis of his nose cone, and I suggest Kevin will be very lucky to have gotten through that without any rear suspension damage, but he's sitting in second spot at the moment, Bernie, so hopefully he's still okay.
Yeah, I tell you what, Kevin did a magnificent job hanging on to that. That's totally hanging out the rear end and showing some real good drifting skills there.
Excellent car control, I can tell you. I've lost corner on more than one occasion and been quite costly, so to hang on to the rear of it under that much sort of contact, very impressed indeed. And not only has he hung on to it, but he's kept his wits about him and continued on in second place. Dennis still sitting behind there. Like I said, though, if he loses the draft with his nose cone missing like that, he'll be no chance up the back straight, Bernie, once they get going.
Yeah, and I guess having that whole nose cone missing, that car's going to push a little bit as well. But we'll see how he goes. But at the moment, Keith Sharp's leading, Kevin Henderson having a great race in second, Dennis Johansson third, Benjamin Soko, he's dropped off the back and by himself in fourth, and then Carlos Sorrentes fifth with Russell Clark right behind him in sixth position.
Yeah, good to see Russell up in a good point scoring position. Of course, we score all the way down to 12th position in the Monday Night Lights series, which we run in conjunction with the official race at this time slot each week. Good pack forming around there as well, back to Anthony Lucas and Mick Gray, all the way back down to Juan Aragones and Pascal Vanderhoek. This track really breeds the opportunity to have these long trains of cars lap after lap, providing everyone's willing to play nicely. I see Carlos had a look there at the inside of Russell, but they're still working together as you do here, as you try and grab a break or any opportunity to get a break and clear the tow. The tow here is really worth, half to a second a lap, as the guys really now ducking into the 209s. They're going to make liars of me again, Bernie. They're right down the low 209s, not hit the 208s yet, but they're certainly having a good crack at it.
Yeah, well, the times are a lot faster than I was expecting, considering they're pretty much in the 209s for qualifying. But yeah, it's good if they make liars of you. I'll agree with them and we'll push on.
Yeah, that's right. That's good. The front pack up there are still Dennis, Kevin and Keith. Kevin's now riding on the front. I'd suggest that he hasn't copped too much damage, which surprised me because it was a decent knock to the rear, and that can usually really ruin your night here in these cars, and he's doing very well to hang on. So really pleased for him for his return to the top split, to be leading this race, as we're just past the halfway and just about to come across the line now for 5 laps to go, Bernie.
Yeah, well, I think with that big hit, Kevin was very fortunate that Dennis actually hit the rear of his car and not any of the wheels. If you had to hit one of the wheels, I think it would have been a different story for sure. But it's great to see Kevin leading, but Keith Sharp's not going to let him go here as they go. I can't believe how wide they go, but they do. And they don't seem to lose any time going that far out there.
No, look, there's no off-tracks out there. Track limits. It's not as fast as holding the traditional racing line, but it doesn't cost you enough to be too worried about it. Of course, you're just trying to seek every advantage that you can through turn one, and running a bit wide isn't too costly, but certainly the more traditional racing line will be quicker as they go through the bus stop nice and cleanly there this time, with 4.5 laps remaining now, Bernie, and certainly on in a few places around the place now. I just saw Carlos Sorrentes cut the second or the exiting part of the bus stop there. I wouldn't be surprised if he's picked up a slowdown. You can see he's pulled off to the side now. A lot of the guys going past him. That's a costly mistake there, and one that he will rue, because he's now got to work past 2 or 3 cars now. Vince Browning just passed him, and I thought Carlos might be able to hold on to it around the outside and get the inside run into the toe here, but no. Vince taking a nice defensive line there, made sure that there was no opportunity now, as again Anthony Lucas up behind Carlos now, as Carlos looking to come back on Vince down the boot straight, I guess you'd call it now, as they look to head into the heel now. Pretty safe move there, although if he doesn't get it done early, Vince will have the inside running into turn 9 and hold on to that. And again, he's left the door open there, and looks like, who's that going up the inside there? I'm not sure that's not a lap car there, Bernie. I can't see who that is.
That was Anthony Lucas making a big move there, and he caught Carlos napping, but they now go too wide into the second last corner. Anthony's going to hang on to the outside, and good driving. He's up to 8th position now.
Yeah, I guess the other side of that, Bernie, is that if they're racing like that through that final the track there, they run the real risk of dropping the cars in front, losing the draft, and ultimately costing themselves the opportunity at higher positions down the track. So you really need to be careful, as they have about 4 laps remaining now, to pick when you're going to make those strategic moves. In the early to mid parts of the race, you really only want to be really fighting hard through this back straight section where the draft is at its strongest, and you can make the move into the bus stop chicane pretty easily at times. If you start working too hard for manoeuvres out the back section of the track, you'll get dropped and really cost yourself a lot of opportunities. Mick had to brake really hard into the bus stop there, so I'm following Mick behind Anthony Lucas, as that's where some of the action is. The guys really trying to sort themselves out through the bus stop. It's really quite a challenge to do, Bernie.
Yeah, and Mick's got his hands full, hasn't he? That's Juan Aragonis right behind him, and he's putting a lot of pressure on Mick. But I'd say Mick's having an enjoyable race tonight, and he'd probably be enjoying the pressure that Juan's putting him under at this stage.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just going through the toe section now, and he's got the wiggles through there as young Mick. He's up 6 positions off his grid, and certainly Juan Aragonis putting the pressure on. I had a race with Juan during the week. He's very quick, likes to put on the passing manoeuvres and move through the field where he can. His car number 16 here tonight, he's got an I rating of 2700, which indicates to the quality of the field. He's working hard to get past Mick, but Mick's a really canny racer. He's very good at letting the race come to him, and his results usually well outstrip where he qualifies. Already tonight, like I said, up 6 positions.
Yeah, so meanwhile up front, folks, we still have Kevin Henderson leading the way, followed by Keith Sharp. Keith's right behind him. There's 0.2 of a second separating these two guys. Then we've got Dennis Johansson without the nose, but I tell you what, we were riding with him before. He's still in the slipstream, and he's actually gaining on them through the toe, and he's actually quicker than the front two through the bus stop.
Yeah, that's right, Bernie. Dennis, I noticed, closed up really well under braking, so he may not be getting the full benefit of the draft, as Kevin forces Keith to the outside to try and make his pass up the back straight into the bus stop chicane, working really hard there to get onto the front. We've lost Keith's lost the back end through the bus stop. He's turned it, come back round, and he's hit Dennis. That's leaving Kevin, I have to say, in the box seat, staring down the barrel of his first Monday Night Lights win that I can remember, Bernie.
Yeah, it will be one of the first wins I remember too, but we were riding with Dennis when that happened, and we heard the clunk, and we thought he got away with it, but unfortunately he didn't. But having a look at that replay now, and Keith got it all crossed up, didn't he?
Yeah, he would have been heading through there in really wide angle into the part, probably not as narrow as you need to take that first one. He's lost the rear, or it started getting loose on him through the first part of the right-hander as you enter the bus stop. As he's gone to switch direction, the rear's just got really loose on him, Bernie, and he's trying to hang on to it, Kevin did a great job, got out of the gas, managed to just squeeze by, might have got to touch on the nose, and then poor old Dennis Johansson in the rear there, Bernie, he's copped would be a passenger in Keith at that point, and that's turned him around, and his car was quite heavily damaged, I think, Bernie.
I think so. It was a pretty Bit of a hit there on the back wheel, so it wouldn't have done him any good. But what this has done is it's released Kevin Henderson here. The gap, 5.2 seconds back to Benjamin Soko in second. Russell Clark another 4 seconds down in third. Fourth, then we have the train. Gustavo Condi, followed by Carlos Sorrentes, Vince Browning, Anthony Lucas is in there, Juan Aragones. He's just dispatched Mick Gray and trying to move up. So there's a lot of racing still to go on in the mid-pack.
Even with only 2 laps remaining, Bernie, you're absolutely right. This is where the guys will be looking to position themselves for the last lap. Do they want to be? Do they want and thinking that to pass anyone, or do they want to sit in second or third, looking to box guys in and overtake at the same time on the final lap? We've got Russell Clark leading out there. Gustavo, really, you don't bump draft in these cars, mate. You don't want to do that. You're not going to make any friends there as they head into the bus stop now. Big dive up the inside by Vince. He's collected Gustavo there, and he's managed to continue on, but again, another move that's not going to make any friends, I don't think, Bernie.
No, we've got someone off in the background as well into the fence. I'm not sure who that was. It was a green car. It was Gustavo Condi.
Yeah, it was. I could see Vince got a massive run up the back straight there. Went up to go up the inside of 2 cars there. Really tight line there through the bus stop. He's failed to pull it up to make the corner. Little bit of net code, I have to say, with Gustavo there, but no, they weren't going to get through there unscathed, Bernie. And then we see Gustavo then cut across. He's trying to hang on to it there. He managed to get through the second part of the bus stop okay. He's then been collected by, who's that? Anthony Lucas, who's turned him around and put him nose first into the fence, Bernie. So quite a tragic series of events for Gustavo there. Probably not of his own making, Bernie.
No, well, I don't know what... with Vince Browning, the way he bombed that in there, that's probably the biggest dive bomb I've seen for ages, and I reckon he would have got the attention of quite a few drivers around him.
Yeah, potentially, Bernie. I'd like to think it was a misjudgment of the braking marker there and a lot of extra speed through that corner, Bernie, as they head to the final lap now. If you don't practice those tighter lines there, as it's not the standard racing line, if the first time you try and attack a corner at high speed is overtaking when you're offline at that sort of thing, at that sort of corner there, you're going to have a lot of trouble. You've got to do that sort of stuff over and over again in practice if you expect to do it consistently in a race. But as we head through the last lap now, I see Kevin flying solo, 5 seconds clear out in the lead. I imagine grinning from ear to ear at the same time as white-knuckling his steering wheel, just hoping to get through this bus stop cleanly. The back end got a little bit loose there, Bernie, as he went through there. He'll be nervous as all get out here trying to take out this Monday Night Lights win. See Carlos go past Russell Clark there, taking the 3rd position as they went through the bus stop. Interesting to see that move made well, Bernie. Mick Gray now looks like he's up into 7th position, sitting behind Vince Browning now. It's all happened there through the bus stop. It's going to be hard work for anyone to gain positions now as they head through the final stages of this final lap, Bernie.
Oh, for sure, and Mick's definitely got his hands full. He's in a battle pack of 4 back here. Anthony Lucas, he's wanting that position, but Mick's hanging on and trying to get hold of Vince Browning. But let's have a look. Kevin Henderson, and he's coming into the final few corners here. It's fantastic to see him out to win a round of the Monday Lights. He normally comes to grief through no fault of his own, but definitely tonight is Kevin Henderson's night, and I couldn't think of a more worthy winner for round 11 here.
Yeah, great. Congrats going out to Kevin as he heads through the final. Great to see him after working so hard to get in the top split. As I see the checkered flag come out now to greet him. Like I said, he'll be grinning from ear to ear as the Benjamin Soko now heading across the line, doing a bit of weaving, putting on a show for the crowd. Carlos Sorrentes in the Sprinters jersey, the spotted pink car there, heading across in 3rd position. Russell Clark in 4th. Juan Aragones fighting hard for 5th there. Vince Browning recovering into 6th. Mick Gray in 7th as the rest of the field starts flooding across the line now, Bernie.
You can see Keith Sharp back there. He's brought that car home in 12th and probably thinking of what could have been there. Luke Whitten is still running out there. He's sitting in 13th, so he did make up 2 positions, but after that massive hit, it was pretty much unrecoverable from there. But to his credit, he got it fixed up and he went out to try and get some points. Really, it's probably he's into the wall. No, he's going to hang on to it. But looking at our retirements tonight, folks, we did have 2 retirements. Mario Schmitz did not make the start tonight. Victor Carrizosa also retired from tonight's race.
Yeah, 2 non-regulars, I have to say. I haven't seen either of them race before. Monday Night Lights outing, but again, great to see Kevin up the front. Benjamin Soko taking out a rare podium position for him here at Monday Night Lights as well. Somewhat of a regular now, it has to be said. Carlos Cervantes gracing us with his pink polka-dotted car once again, grabbing a nice podium spot. Really pleased for Russell Clark there, grabbing some great championship points in 5th. And Juan Aragones, who we spoke about earlier in the night, rounding out the top 5.
Yeah, so we can see our race winner now, Kevin Henderson, just bringing that car back into the pits to get a pat on the back by his team manager and the rest of the team. But while he's doing that, let's go through the full grid here. Not that grid. Man, I'm having one of those nights tonight. Let's try the results. That might work. So congratulations to Kevin Henderson for winning tonight. Benjamin Soko, as you said, I've forgotten your name now, Alex, is becoming a regular up there. Carlos Cervantes, good drive, comes home in 3rd, followed by Russell Clark in 4th. Juan Aragones 5th, and then we have the biggest dive bomber of all. I shouldn't say that.
Harsh, Bertie.
Oh, okay. He knows. Okay, the last of the late breakers. There you go. Vince Browning home in 6th. I'm digging a hole tonight. 7th is Mick Gray, followed by Anthony Lucas in 8th. 9th, Ian Robertson. 10th, Jason Willman. Home in the 11th was Gustavo Condi, followed by Keith Sharp in 12th. Dennis Johansson comes home in 13th after that incident in the bus stop, just ahead of Luke Whitten in 14th. Pascal Van Den Hoyk, I hope I got that right, in 15th. Samuel Collins, one of our retirees tonight, 8 laps down. Victor Carrizosa, the other retirement, and Mario Schmitz did not make the grid.
Yeah, well, one thing we did predict, even if I didn't get the lap times terribly well on track tonight, Bernie, Luke Whitten, although, had the fastest lap at a 2:09 dead. Just didn't scrape into those 2:08s, Bernie. But we did predict where the action was. There was plenty of action going into the bus stop chicane here, as it has been all week, Bernie. The official racing here has seen guys sort of mixing between wanting to work together but also wanting to get in front at that location, and it's such a challenging corner. I can't emphasize how hard it is to hit that corner off your normal line when there's 3 or 4 cars around you, sometimes 6 or 8, all trying to get through a tight space. It's a real choke point, a challenging set of corners it's a flat track, no camber helping you out. The rear of the car can get loose so easily. Throw in some big ripple strips, the car getting unsettled. It's a real challenge. So I can't really criticise too heavily the guys that got it wrong there tonight. Everyone's really trying their best there through a challenging set of corners, but it's certainly made for some action-packed viewing, Bernie.
Oh, it certainly did make for action-packed viewing, and I'm having a look at the telemetry, and I'll tell you what, a lot of the names in there tonight have had off-tracks, and we've got a few with multiple off-tracks, which generally means they've had to take to the grass. And I think it's going to be one of those races where the participants are going to remember it for quite some time. It was definitely very good racing, and some amazing saves and some very bad luck, but really I think Luke's going to be very disappointed tonight because he had an opportunity here to really capitalise. If we look at this point score, he didn't have Ben here tonight, nor was Enzo or Valerio, so he really had an opportunity to capitalise and make a big gap, but that did not come to fruition tonight. So I think we're pretty much going to be going back into next week with the positions pretty much where they are. Just having a look where Mick Gray finished. He may jump up actually a little bit on Valerio.
Yeah, that's right, Bernie. Mick will be up a few, maybe up a... Yeah, he will actually, I think, jump Valerio there, depending on what drop rounds he's got. The big winner, of course, tonight, not only in the race, but on the scoreboard, will be Kevin Henderson securing, I think it's 30 points for the victory here. He'll be up in the 190s. He may well jump Mick and be back up into 4th position. Of course, he was as high as 3rd earlier in the season. Had some bad luck along the way, down in 6th position currently. Depending on how the scores play out, I could see him as high as 4th. Bernie, Enzo not being here, not scoring any points tonight. One race, as we said, remaining. So for him to try and back up his back-to-back series win in the Monday Night Lights as the returning champion. Certainly plenty to play for with one round to go. I'd say most of the podium spots are still on offer, depending on how the points come out tonight, Bernie.
Yeah, well, it's definitely going to compress, isn't it, around about Valerio, Mick Gray, Kevin Henderson. They're all going to compress and potentially bring in Enzo into that compression as well. So, yeah, all to play for the final round next week. Do you know where we're going? I think it's Sebring, isn't it, or not?
Yeah, Sebring to finish the season, Bernie. Guess what? We have got down below. We've got Kevin Henderson. Looks like he's going to come and have a chat. Would you like to have a chat with Kevin for the first time in the season, Bernie?
No, I don't want to talk to Kevin. Of course we should.
All right.
Yeah,
let me just figure out how to get him up here. I think we're right. I'll just bring him up and you can say hello.
Hi Kevin, welcome to RRTV's commentary box. Congratulations, mate, on a fantastic win tonight. I tell you what, though, it was it looked like you had your hands full there with all the battling that was going around you.
Yeah, can you hear me there, Bernie?
Yeah, I've got you. Yep.
Yeah, I was pretty lucky. I sort of the parting of the seeds there for me, but I'm really happy. I put in so much work to get into that split. Like I was saying in the race, I put over 550 IR on over the weekend just to get there. So, yeah, I'm stoked.
Oh, it was a fantastic win too, and I tell you what, you were so competitive throughout that whole race with Dennis and Keith Sharp there. But I reckon when Keith lost it through the bus stop there, you must have been holding your breath.
yeah, and clenching something. Bernie, I'll tell you. I saw him start to go, so I was on the anchors early. I think that's the only thing that saved me. I might have given him a little bit of a tap, but as soon as I saw him start to go, I grabbed the skids and just hoped that it was behind me. I can't remember now. Didn't get me from behind, so I was pretty lucky. And Luke getting taken out early sort of helped.
Yeah, he had a really bad luck race there, but we're riding with Dennis Johansson there as we went through the bus stop when Keith lost it there, and you just snuck through. Dennis tried to follow you, but unfortunately he got collected in the back wheel there and spun him around. But yeah, fantastic drive, a really, really good drive, and I'm really pleased for you tonight, Kevin. But I've got Alex McKellar here with me, and I'll hand you over to him because I'm sure he's got some words to say to you too.
Yeah, thanks, Bernie. Hey, Kevin, mate, congratulations not only on the win, but on the hard work it took to get back in the top split this week, mate. Really pleased for you. It was an action-packed race up there in what resulted, well, ultimately in the top 3, and then you on your own, of course. But early on there, Dennis had a look up the. He went through the chute, and Dennis had a look, or he tried to have a look, and it looked like he missed his braking marker and hit you in the rear there, going through the toe. I'm just wondering. I was surprised you didn't pick up a lot of damage because Dennis lost his nose, and as you know, these things are pretty weak in the rear. Were you carrying much damage throughout the race?
To be honest, Alex, I don't really think so. Might have been a bit of net coat in there for Dennis to get that much damage, because really my rear wing wasn't even bent. I might have lost a little turn in, but apart from that it seemed fine. I was quite surprised when I saw Dennis's car.
Yeah, we were too. He struggled then for pace, but managed to, I think, keep in the toe the whole way, and he was certainly good under brakes, particularly into turn one. I tell you what, though, he had the worst luck going through that incident that we were talking about with Keith there. Keith got loose through the start of the bus stop. It kept going wide, and then I tell you what, watching that replay, I can see why you must have been clenching the steering wheel, let's call it, as he went through there, because he didn't miss you by much. And poor old Dennis, it looked like I could imagine him curling up, trying to sneak in just behind you. He copped the worst of it, mate. But which was more nerve-wracking? Was it going through there, or was it the last couple of laps on your own, trying not to put it off track there and hopefully come away with the win?
Yeah, I'll tell you, Alex, I drove those last two laps like the school run, mate, and just sweating on not blowing up the motor, I got to tell you. But I could have been driving the school bus for how well I was going.
Yeah, mate. Well, I'm really pleased for you. Really, really. Welcome back to the top split in fine fashion, it has to be said, mate. So, but before we let you go, is there anyone you wanted to give to while you're here?
Yeah, just a shout out to you guys, RRTV, and you, Alex, for supporting the series. It's great, mate, and just the community in general. I've had a really good weekend here at this track this weekend. The racing's been great up the front. I know there's a lot of carnage behind, but the guys up the front have been racing really well. And yeah, the Dennis and Keith tonight too. They both raced really well.
Yeah, thanks very much for that, Kevin, mate. Great, like I said, great to see you back. Fantastic result, and you're a great supporter of the series. I think between you and Jason, you're fighting for the most races in the series. So, I'm really pleased to see you have this great result after being such a staunch supporter of the series, mate. So, congratulations again.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. I really appreciate it, mate. I was pretty lucky tonight, but you bring your own luck. I put the work in to get into the top split, and if you're not in the top split, you can't win the top race. So, yeah, I was pretty lucky, but like I say, you make your own luck.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Well, congratulations again, mate, and I'll catch you on track during the week.
Yeah, Alex. Yeah, thanks, mate. I remember that race I had this week that you were in when I drove for 15th a second too. I've just got a bit of speed at this track. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I remember that one too, mate. Very impressive. So, great track for you, mate, and hopefully the next one brings...
Yeah, fantastic, Kevin, and you should go now and enjoy the spoils of victory and have some champagne, as Kevin's now left the room. He didn't even wait for me to finish talking.
Oh, that might have been me by mistake, mate. I'm still learning the ropes. I'm sorry, Kevin, but it was certainly great to see him up here under such great circumstances, Bernie.
Oh, it's fantastic for Kevin, and as he said, he worked really hard to get in the top split tonight, and he capitalised on it, and it's fantastic. I saw him in a few other races earlier in the week, and he was also very much on the pace as well, so that's great for Kevin. Having a look at what else, I don't think we've got anyone else to talk. I can see a few of the drivers are now having a chat in the chat room down there, and debriefing, but doesn't look like anyone else is coming up for an interview here, Alex.
No, look, those of you that are interested though, I've posted the link to our Discord server here. I'm just going to try and pull it up in a sec. Discord's the app that we're using to both call the races here tonight, but also trying to add a little bit to the community here by having a place where you can go and chat in real time. You can also do voice chat. We've got channels up here so you can talk to people either during the race if you're so inclined, although I find that a bit distracting myself, or in and around the races themselves. Get in and have a chat. So if you're interested in doing that, download the Discord app. That's spelled Discord. The server link is not only in the forum thread for Monday Night Lights, but I'll just give you a quick shout out to it now. It's discord.gg/YKHESTX, and that's probably never going to be remembered. So just go to the forum thread and you'll find it there, and that way you can not only join us for the interview, but join your fellow drivers for a bit of a chat after the race or before, and hopefully we can add a bit to the community at the same time, Bernie.
Yeah, but now that you've told them that, I'm going to get no one in my YouTube chat room. So how am I going to look great without them telling me what to say?
Well, see, that's why I said either side of the race. During the race, make sure you go over to RRTV on YouTube and check out all the live action. You can interact with us there. We won't be watching the Discord chat. We'll be watching the RRTV stream chat, and that's the best way to interact with us, of course.
Well, that was a good getting out of a deep hole, wasn't it?
Did I save that one, Bernie?
Oh, just mate. You've had many years of practice by the sounds of it. It's looking at what's left for RRTV this week. A bit of a quiet week, which is I'm not too sad to say. I need a little bit of a break. But Friday night we've got the Australian Online Supercar Championship. If you missed Oran Park, folks, check out the start, because it was a absolute shocker, and we'll actually be carrying a lot more coverage of what occurred at the start of that race. But tell you what, Alex, 40 V8 supercars lined up at Oran Park. Need I say more?
Mate, I can tell you, I spent a bit of time at Oran Park when I was a young fella. Before, I think they've closed it now. But having driven it here now on the iRacing service, I can tell you, 40 cars, let alone 40 V8s around there, that would have been, I don't know, somewhere between awesome and mayhem is all I can imagine. I know I'll be heading over there to check that out.
Yeah, definitely check it out. The start actually had a lot of... how would you say it, flashbacks for me of that massive incident with Morris when he got rear-ended at the start and his car caught fire. Very much like that. I don't want to give it away. I want everyone to go and have a look. But this weekend, or this Friday night, we're actually going to Bathurst and for their final round. And well, not their final round, their Bathurst round. So it's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds. But apart from that, we may have the Blancpain Sprint Series. I say that every week. We haven't covered it for the last 2 to 3 weeks, and quite honestly, I'm not sure if we will continue covering it, because my track record of covering it's pretty poor. So that's probably more likely than not to not go ahead at this stage, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's right. But if you are looking for on-track action as well, don't forget, if you're a Skippy lover and you enjoy this race each week, if you want to get on track, by all means, hop on the 9:15 p.m. Australian Eastern Time official race here on a Monday night, or alternatively, head over to the leagues section on the iRacing site and look up the Australasian Super Skips. They run there weekly at this stage for one more week of this season. The Skip Barber car, it's a hosted league or a private league there. The racing is every bit as exciting as it was here tonight, but it's a great bunch of guys organised by Simon Chambers, that championship. Fantastic events, fantastic bunch of guys to race with, and the action is not only fast and furious but immensely enjoyable, Bernie.
Yeah, so it's not like Fast and Furious, I guess, where you... Yeah, anyway.
Not quite.
Yeah. Also, a big shout out to Sam Catakazinos. He's in the chat room tonight. Fortunately, he's been out for a couple of weeks, Alex, because he's hurt his back. But yeah, it's great to see he comes in and watches the telecast, has a chat with the blokes and enjoys it. And hopefully, Sam, we're going to see you out on the track again soon once that back of yours gets better.
Yeah, I wonder why I hadn't seen Sam around. Actually, Sam's a quiet supporter of the racing in Australia, the iRacing in Australia. Great stream at Sam Catakazinos Racing. I used to enjoy watching him, and he was great to learn from. Always good with answers to questions that I had about streaming. Good racer, of course, too. I remember him racing with us here last season, I think it was. I think I've only seen him once here this season for a Monday Night Lights event, but I certainly sent out my thoughts to Sam. Hope he's feeling better soon. Love to see him on track again soon.
Yeah, definitely. So on that note, folks, it's just about the end of our night. What is the time? 10:15. It's definitely at the end of our night. It's an almost bedtime for me. But anyway, folks, I hope you've enjoyed tonight's race. It was definitely action-packed and fun to call. I hope it was equally fun to view. But also, Alex, thanks, mate, for joining me once again in the combox. So you're becoming a mainstay here Monday nights, but without your input and commentary, this would not be going ahead. So big thanks.
No, thank you, Bernie. Thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate the opportunity to come in here and add this little bit of fun to the community. I know the guys really do appreciate what you do here and what we put on here for them. You could hear it in Kevin's voice tonight. You could hear, I mean, earning 400 or 500 points in a week of iRating at this track, amongst many, is a really challenging exercise, and you could hear what it meant to him to come up here and then not only to do that but then take out the race on the RRTV coverage. It means a lot. I could hear it, and I know it means a lot to the guys to have you come back week in, week out. It's a lot of fun at the same time, mate. You make it a lot of fun. So thank you to you, and thank you to the community for making it enjoyable as always.
Yeah, and big congratulations to Kevin Henderson for winning tonight. Yeah, I can't imagine getting 500 in a week. That's nearly a quarter of what my iRating is, I think. But yeah, well done, well deserved. A good way to cap off a great week for Kevin as well. So we'll see if he can carry the momentum on next week. And no pressure, Kevin, if you're listening. But generally, Alex, when drivers get that win, generally the momentum can carry on.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. He's had a bit of a rough trot in this season from memory, and I know he was working hard to get back to the 3,000 iRating that sort of guarantees you at least a Guernsey in the top split each week. And he's pretty close now. I think he if my estimations are right, after that race he's just under 3,000 at 29.89 or thereabouts. Picked up 100 iRating for this race, Bernie. So I know it's easy to lose 100. It's not easy to gain 100. So well done.
Yeah, it's generally a bit like saving, isn't it? You can spend money faster than you can save normally. Well, that's the experience I've got. But anyway, we could talk here all night, folks, but it's getting late, and I'm sure you guys have better things to do than listening to me rabbit on. But anyway, join us Friday night for the Australian Online Supercar Championships at Bathurst. If we get anywhere near the field we had at Oran Park, it's just going to go off, and it's going to be brilliant. So, folks, thanks for joining us. Hopefully I'll see you again Friday night. If not, have a great week of iRacing, and we'll see you next Monday night. So on behalf of Alex McCullough, I'm Bernie Wiemers, and thanks for watching RRTV. Good night.